Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Luke Mick. I hope you are all doing as well as you possibly can, and I also hope that you are as excited about the November Criterion Collection releases as I am. And I'm so excited about it and so enthusiastic about it that I'm actually making a video about it. I've never done a Criterion Collection announcements reaction video, and usually it's because there are only like two things out of the entire monthly slates that I can really say anything about. But every film released this month, or every set, whatever you want to say, has piqued my interest, or are films that I'm familiar with and have seen on occasion. So I'm really excited about these November releases, and I also just want to say that I did have a different video planned to be released in place of this video, but I haven't gotten around to editing yet, and I'll talk about more about my next upcoming video at the end of this video for those of you who are just here for the Criterion stuff. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but I want to start off by looking at the Criterion Collection's homepage. So this is what we have here: November titles announced, and something that was huge news that officially broke last week in an email from Criterion is they are getting into the 4K disc game, something they said a couple of years ago they weren't interested in doing, a market that they didn't think was very viable for them as a business, but they have gone back on that and are now actually bringing us some 4K discs. So they announced like 6 to 8 4Ks to be coming out starting in November and then releasing, I'm assuming, throughout December, January, and so on. But they did give us the first 6 to 8 that they plan to release, and it looks like 3 of them will be coming to us in November. November. Okay, so let's start by taking a peek at the first one that they have announced for November. It is La Strada by Fellini, and this is a release that I'm going to confirm this, but I'm pretty sure that this film would be a part of the Essential Fellini set. Let me double check that. I'm on blu-ray.com right now. What is it? La Strada. I'd be very surprised if this isn't in here. Yeah, so La Strada is available in the Essential Fellini box set, so this is really the most uninteresting releases of the entire month of November, in my opinion. I am not a Fellini mastermind at this point. He's a filmmaker whom I want to experience more, and when I do have the time and the mood to experience more Fellini, I will probably end up doing it with the Essential Fellini set you can see here. So for me, and probably many others, especially if you already have the box set, this is kind of like a pointless release because it's just a standalone release of one of the films in the set, La Strada. So if you want one piece of Essential Fellini, just one, you can grab La Strada on its own. Otherwise, it's in the box set. I don't think that this is a hugely impressive release. I'm assuming all of the special features are the same as they are on the disc in the Essential Fellini box set. We'll stop talking about it because it seems like a kind of redundant release. Next one is Mullholland Drive, David Lynch being one of my favorite filmmakers. A film that I'm really excited that is coming to 4K, and I think that all they are doing is giving us a new 4K disc and then the Blu-ray disc that has the film and all the special features. I don't think there are any new interviews or audio commentaries or anything. I think the only thing that is new about this release is the 4K UHD disc with the film, which is perfectly fine because the supplemental value of the previous Mullholland Drive release from Criterion I thought was pretty outstanding, so no complaints there. And this is something that I think people are very interested in, as I am, and it's the price tag. So this is going to be a 4K release with a Blu-ray disc with all the supplements, and it's priced at $49.95 suggested retail price. So that means at Barnes & Noble, the 4Ks, standard 4Ks like this that aren't super editions, maybe like Citizen Kane, I have a feeling that one's going to be a bit pricier, but normal 4K releases are going to be about $25 US during Criterion sales, assuming these go on sale once, November rolls along and the Barnes & Noble sale starts again, which is great. I was worried that maybe, because I feel like we haven't seen a big price hike in Criterion for a while. I feel like the SRP has been around $40 normally for their regular releases for a long time. I can't recall any changes in recent years. So I was just curious mostly, are they going to say the SRP is $60 or $50, like how they would price their more premium Blu-ray editions like Seven Samurai, Night of the Hunter, On the Waterfront, stuff like that. And that's what they're doing. So I think that's like very fair. I mean, just an extra $5 around sale time for the 4K, I think is kind of what everyone was hoping for. That's kind of the best outcome we could have had with pricing. I'm thankful that they aren't going to be $30 a piece regularly sale priced. So that's great. But yes, Mulholland Drive is one of David Lynch's most confounding and interesting works. And if you have watched Twin Peaks: The Return, it reminds me so much of that. And it's like Lost Highway as well. There are many different buckets and genres and categories you can put his films into, and Mulholland Drive is definitely in that category of being incredibly mysterious and very there isn't a definite answer or conclusion to anything, and the whole film is like a dream, and it's such a good film, and I can't wait for the 4K. So that's really exciting. The next one here, the Once Upon a Time in China, the complete films, and are there 4 or 5 films in here? I see, is that 6 discs? It's 6 discs. I'm going to say it's 5 films. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I didn't realize that these were films from the 90s. I saw this in my email today while I was at work, the cover art for this, and that it was a collection of martial arts films, which I haven't seen these films, and I don't know much about them, but they launched action star Jet Li, who is a very famous actor and martial artist, and I gotta say that Criterion Collection's work in the martial arts and kung fu genres over the past couple of years with the Bruce Lee set and the Police Story set, I've really, really loved and enjoyed a lot, and I am totally down for them including more films like this in the collection. And another superstar, Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan are obviously incredibly famous, and Jet Li is right up there with them as far as international fame and recognition goes. So yeah, this is great. Five films. That's a lot. The price tag is going to be $125.95 suggested retail. So on sale, why can't I do math right now? What'll that be, like $60? $62.50 for this set when it is on sale through Amazon or Barnes & Noble. You know, the only time people like to buy Criterions, the sales. So yeah, very, very fair, what I'd expect, and a set that I am really interested in. I'm super happy that Criterion is continuing putting these types of films in the collection. That's really cool. So yes, and they are far more recent than I thought. They are 90s films, which is interesting. I thought they would have been like 60s, but then I thought Jet Li, I was like, I don't know how old Jet Li is. He's got to be, like almost 60? So I guess 90s, that makes sense for when he was really breaking ground. So I should have thought of that. But yes, Once Upon a Time in China, the complete series. That's really cool. I'm going to take a sip, and happy birthday to those of you who are celebrating your birthday today. Cheers to you. Yes, just you. I was going to say and me, but there's nothing to cheers me for other than my excitement and just my optimism for the month of November as far as Criterion goes. Next one here is another one of the 4K releases, and it is Menace II Society, written and directed by the Hughes brothers, and I have actually seen this film. There's been a Blu-ray release in Region A U.S. territory for a long time. I think it's the director's cut of the film, which is what I'm assuming will be included in this 4K release. And it's been so long since I watched that film, but I remember it being such a visceral, bleak, and depressing gangster film that came out in the early 90s, 1993, and I really can't remember anything about the characters or situations. I just remember the sort of big dramatic moment in the film, which I won't get into, and just how just grim the movie was, and just how raw the filmmaking felt. I'm really, really, really excited to revisit this film in 4K and with a Criterion edition, because although I've only seen the film once and it was on that Blu-ray, it's one that just sadly hasn't stuck with me as far as remembering what happens in the film, but just the feel of the film and the mood is something that once Criterion announced that they were bringing this to the collection, I thought, that's a really interesting choice, especially to unveil their 4K line. But I completely am on board with it, and I very much intend to pick this up when it's released because I definitely need to revisit it. And I don't think that the Criterion Collection has previously put this film out. I could be wrong. It does have a fresh spine number, 1105. It could have been out in the Laserdisc era because I'm not familiar with that part of the collection. But this one is also priced at $49.95 SRP, which sounds great. I'm sure this will have a lot of great supplemental features. Reading them all right here, it looks like they're packing this one up real nice. And yeah, Menace to Society, a really great film that, even though it's been so long, I would recommend it, and I think it's a really cool movie to add to the collection. So yeah, that was I knew the rumors of Mullholland Drive and Citizen Kane coming to 4K, but that Menace to Society was a very pleasant surprise when I heard that. So really cool. And of course, the last one coming out on November 23rd. I probably should have mentioned the release dates of all these films, but I don't think I did, but that's okay. You've probably just seen them as I've been clicking on them and looking through them. Citizen Kane. I won't say it's ironic that this is coming out now, but I recently watched for the first time On the Waterfront, and watching that film made me think about Citizen Kane. And Citizen Kane is a film that, when I watched it in film analysis in high school, I was sick the first day, so I only caught the last half of it, and I didn't want to pay too much attention because I wanted the full experience of the film. And also, watching a film over 2 days in school is not always fun. It doesn't always give you the right experience of a film, and I have not yet revisited it or had the opportunity to. And watching On the Waterfront sort of compelled me to, and I wanted to make a video about this, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it now, almost like a sort of film challenge. And I'm sure I'm not the first person to have ever thought of this or done this, but I do want to make a video where I compile a list of films pre-Citizen Kane, good films and bad films that came out before Citizen Kane, and watch them and spend like a week or two only watching those films. So once I watch Citizen Kane, I can fully appreciate and understand the effect it had on the cinema and on storytelling in film. And I just think that'd be the best way for me to really experience it for the first time, because I can watch it right now. Like, it's considered to be one of the greatest films of all time, and people watch it and they're often disappointed, I think, but I feel that you have to better understand the circumstances and the time it was made, which can be really hard to do, especially since I don't watch a lot of films pre-1940. That's just the truth. So I think the best way for me to experience it would to be what I just explained to you. But yes, this is going to be really awesome. This has not been in the Criterion Collection since the DVD era, but it was on a Laserdisc. And what is the spine number? 1104. Okay, that's another thing I should have said about all these movies, is giving you the spine number, but I sort of forget. I always forget to say the spine number. I'm sorry about that, but you probably looked if you've been watching the video, not just listening. But yeah, Citizen Kane. The price tag is $60 or $59.95 SRP, which is not a surprise. I did expect this to be a sort of On the Waterfront Seven Samurai sized release. I'm sure there are going to be a ton of supplemental features on here. So this will be $30 on 4K during sale time, which that's honestly like pretty acceptable, especially considering the prices of like Arrow Video's 4K limited editions right now. Like, those are honestly getting to be really expensive upon release. Little side, not rant, but side observation here. But like and I've ordered these, the Dario Argento 4Ks from them are like $45 a piece, and they're nice packages, and I haven't watched them yet, but I'm sure the restorations are great. But it's like, holy cow, it's like a lot of money. So I think Criterion is actually pricing these really fairly and not going overboard with their pricing. I think it's honestly the best outcome that we could have possibly had for pricing, so I'm happy with that. As far as the cover of this one goes, I know I haven't talked about the covers for any of these, but this one, it's super simple, and I don't know if there's some sort of significance in the simplicity of this design in the film. It's clean. It looks, it's black and grayish silver. I don't know. What do you all think of the cover? It is very simple. I guess I don't really mind. I'm sure the inner art will have a lot more pop to it and more interesting images to look at. But it is pretty simple. Yes, that's Citizen Kane. And I do want to point out that I really like the artwork for Menace II Society. I think this cover is sick, just to go back to that one. And I like how they blacked out and just kind of white lined the Criterion logo. Very nice looking cover. This one's pretty cool. The Once Upon a Time in Once Upon a Time in China. This is not the Tarantino bit. Mullholland Drive is the same as it was, and then La Strada. I'm assuming that's another just piece of artwork that Criterion had designed for that film. It doesn't look to be original to me, but maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. But yes, that is everything. That's sort of my breakdown and my thoughts on everything coming out in November. I think it's going to be a great month, and something that I am just a tiny bit concerned with is that I hope that they allow the 4Ks to go on sale in November, because like I probably mentioned a few times, November is the Barnes & Noble sale month for the Criterion Collection, and since these are such hot new releases, I'm wondering if they won't put them on sale, but I can't imagine they wouldn't, because they've never excluded items from their sales before. It's always been everything, at least to my knowledge, and as far back as I can remember. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you think that the Criterion Collection will limit these releases from being on sale come November? Because November is a hot Criterion month, and I do plan to pick up all 3 of these 4K releases if they're all in stock in my area. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Let me know down below. And that pretty much does it for this part of the video, but I do want to quickly talk about and explain myself for my upcoming video, the one I was supposed to have out this week in place of this video. I basically filmed last like Friday or Thursday or something, a sort of random Blu-ray mail day unboxing, and one of the films in that was the Irreversible release from Indicator, and I ended up talking about Irreversible for a pretty long time. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is splitting that video into 2, and I haven't edited any of it yet because I had a very sin-filled weekend of debauchery this past weekend, and I had time allocated to edit like I normally do every other weekend, but I did not take the time to do that. I chose to do other things instead, which is my bad, my fault. So yeah, that video is coming. I think I am going to split it into halves. I think one half is going to kind of awkwardly be my Irreversible review and sort of Blu-ray unveiling, and then I'll do a second video that does the continuation of the haul. It's not like an enormous haul. It's not a sale haul. It's just like a bunch of random Blu-rays and Arrow stuff and Indicator stuff that came in the mail that I just wanted to open up on camera and talk about. So yeah, you have that to look forward to, an Irreversible sort of overview, my thoughts on the film, and then an extra sort of like Blu-ray unboxing thing. And there's so many other videos I want to do, like the Citizen Kane thing. I still really want to do a new Criterion marathon, but I keep pushing that off as well. There are a bunch of other videos I have in my mind right now that I just am not thinking about because I have been blabbering on for so long, and I can only pre-store so much information in my head to talk about in one sitting. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking because my mouth is literally foaming, and I feel like I have rabies, and I need to drink my tea. So that's everything for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and let me know down below which films you would like to see the Criterion Collection put in 4K. Which 4K... how should I word this? Which Criterion Collection films that are currently existing in the collection, like Mullholland Drive, would you like to see come to 4K? Let me know down below, but that's all I have for you. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I hope to see you again soon, and I will talk to you later.